Okay, so I have this landing page and I want to add an action for this join waitlist button so that I can grab the user's information before the launch. To do that, I'm planning to use Drizzle ORM with Neon Postgres database. I already have an action for this, and you can see that here I'm sending an email to my the company email so that I know there is a new user. So my initial plan is to add some sort of an action before sending the email or after sending the email, that depends. But right now I have this action. I'm using Astro, but you can obviously use any other framework. I think the process is kind of same. And here I'm sending the email and returning the data. That's pretty much it. But I'm planning to actually add some sort of way to save the user information. So let me just do that. To do store waitlist info in the database. That's pretty perfect. Let's get back to the Neon. I think this is like Drizzle ORM documentation. Okay. I'm using PNPM, so I'm going to use that. So let's do this. PNPM add Drizzle ORM and PNPM add Drizzle ORM. And we need the Drizzle kit as well. Paste and enter. You should also install the Neon serverless driver. Okay, do that. So here I am on the Neon console. I already created a project, you can see right here, and set up connection string variable. So navigate to the connection string. So our connection string is something like this, and database URL. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and get back to the Neon. So connect. So I'm going to use the development branch for now, and then I would switch to production when I'm done. So let's use the primary one. Database role is pretty fine. There is no Astro configuration, but I think the next is pretty much the same. Okay, now I think I have to connect the Drizzle ORM to my database. To do that, I need the source db.ts. So I'm going to put that in my source lib, and there I'm going to create a new file called db.ts, and let's copy this, paste right here. Okay, so on the env.d.ts, I think I have to add another entry, the database URL, which is actually string. Let's move on. Okay, so I have to set up a necessary schema for it. I think there is this users table, post table, insert user, select user, whatever. But I don't need that much. I only need the informations related to the user for the waitlist, and I only have, you can see if I open up the website, you can see I have this field, email or phone number, it doesn't matter. So that's why I have a field, email or phone, and this is kind of like the text for the table on Postgres side. This shouldn't be null, and obviously it should be unique. And there's this created at and timestamp, and there's this ID. Okay. This is waitlist users. I'm not sure I would call this as users. Let me just use, yeah, I think this is much better. So now I have this insert user and select user, like a couple of type, and I think this is all I need for now. Let's move on to the next step, which is set up Drizzle config file. So since we're actually using Drizzle, and Drizzle provides a Drizzle kit that contains all the information that you need for connecting your database, migration, schema, seeding, everything. So let's create a drizzle config.ts file, paste. So you can see that I have this .env. I think drizzle config probably wouldn't be able to know. I'm not sure whether it has the access to the feed or not. Okay, so let me just install it. I think, yeah, I think I can use this command. Let me just install that as well. And paste. Okay, that's done. And then I think I would be able to get the information from env. And then the schema is source schema.ts. So that's like source schema.ts. Okay. And output is on the migrations. So it would create a migrations folder somewhere right here on top. We are using PostgreSQL and DB credential URL, which is the database URL that you set on the. Okay, so our configuration is done. I think we can now apply our changes to the database. For that, we have to use this command npx drizzle git generate. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the package.json and I would create a script for it. db generate. Okay. And I'm going to do is pnpm db generate. And you can see that command failed. No config path provided using drizzle config json. Okay, so I mistakenly put that drizzle config inside of source. So just make sure that this is, in root of your application. Let me just run that command one more time. And now you can see that I have a new migration file, migration 0 SQL. So if I click on it, you can see that it created a table waitlist user with ID, email. So this is basically, the SQL command. And yeah, you can see there is a folder migrations on the root. There's some metadata. I think I do not have to worry about that. So this is our first migration. Okay, so now we have to run the migrate command. So let me just copy this and come back here, package.json. I think I installed the drizzle kit, right? Yeah, I do have drizzle kit. So do I actually need npx for that? Or maybe something like this, db migrate. So I can just remove the npx. Now let me just run the command pnpm db migrate. And you can see that it's applying the migrations. Okay, so now what you have to do, you have to click on these tables and yeah, you can see we have the waitlist users table. That's pretty perfect. Okay, so what next? Alternatively, you can push changes directly to the database using push command, but I would suggest you to stick with the convention. You would run the generate command first, so that would create a migrations for you, and then you can verify what are the things that would be pushed before you can even push to your database. And then after you are done verifying, then you can migrate the changes. So I think that's the most industry standard way to do it. Now what next? I think we have to kind of create our queries and mutations and that kind of stuff. To do that, I'm going to create a folder under this source. I'm going to call this as services, or I think the services is already there. Okay, so I would create a service file, create waitlist user.service.ts. So let me just copy paste this. So copy that, and I have to import from the schema. Let's import the DB as well from the library. This should be, yeah, of course, this should be waitlist users. And let's update the import as well. And I'm going to create a waitlist user. Okay, so now let's call that service in our actions. So I have this join waitlist actions that I showed you earlier. So let me call that here. So it would be await create waitlist user, and email or phone would be input email or phone. Okay, and make sure this is imported right here from your services. And let me just save it and let's test this out. Okay, so there is one correction. Since we're using the Astro and Astro is using feed, so we cannot use process env. It has to be import.meta.env. Okay, now let's test this out. Join waitlist, and you are on the wait list. So let's see on our database side. And if I think I have to refresh, and here we go, we have one entry. So this is pretty nice, and I think this was really straightforward way to do it. But I think we can improve our implementation a little bit, because right now we are not catching any errors. So what I did, I actually created this, two variables to get the error, and I'm calling that. Then if that is successful, that means waitlist created, which is true. And then if something goes wrong, then we are collecting the error message, and for that we have this to error message. We are actually getting the error message, error.message, if this is instant of error. Otherwise we are stringifying that, and if something goes wrong on stringifying, we are just returning that error as it is. And after that, I'm just erroring that for the log on the server. So this is an action, so it would run on the server. So we can actually console log there. It's perfectly fine. It's not console logging on the client. It's console logging on the server. Okay. I have this email send functionality. I want to get the email even if there is any error. And what I did, I actually updated the email template a little bit, and I added that error message on the email if there's something goes wrong. Okay, and that way I would get the error, and probably I would start working on it. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and see you on my next video.